So we're still looking at TQQQ is what we're gonna sell puts at, and I'm holding it. I bought it at 148. I've been stuck here for a while, so I'm just still down 21 points. I did get $1.65 for the calls when I sold them initially. Well, week one, week two. I'm gonna just hold here. I'm thinking this is gonna be up to new highs by the end of the year, so we're just going to hold here. If we get closer to the 148 price, I may sell some calls or do some creative things, but right now I'm thinking of just holding it till it gets back up there. Did you catch today? It went all the way down to 120.84, and then the high was 128.01. So buy the dips, sell the rips. That was a 7-point move, over a 7-point move today. So buying these dips, selling the rips, if you have cash, really could pay off. Getting 7 points in one day or intraday is humongous. So whenever this thing does dip down really well, it's not unusual for it to have 3 or 4 points of movement during the day. So that might be something you want to play. It looks like it goes down pretty heavily around, the 10:30 mark. Central Standard Time be 9:30. The market opens up and then it drops. It's a typical pattern, and then it may go back up for the rest of the day. This is a pattern that holds pretty true for many days, that it'll open up higher and then drop around 10:30 Central Standard Time. So I guess that'd be a way to play if you're kind of looking for swing trading. But this movement of 3, 4, 5, 7 points, over 7 points today, is something you can take advantage of. So take a look at it. When it drops really heavily, sell the puts at that point. You want to sell on a down day if it's down pretty heavy, especially if you think that the market's choppy and it might come back like it did today. Now, I did notice that the NASDAQ was up 118, which is 0.82%. So if you times that times 3, thereabouts, then you get around 2.4%. So we didn't get a very good triple of the NASDAQ, of the whole NASDAQ. And so we may have Apple or Microsoft or some of the other stocks that are on the top 100 that are not trading as well as the NASDAQ as a whole. So I guess we can watch that. Sometimes we get the better end of it, and sometimes we get the worst end of it. We probably should have been up a little bit more today than we were, given the how much the NASDAQ was up. So I'm thinking more like $3. But anyway, that's what we ended up as. Also, too, if you're trading this, it does look like this thing goes down like right at the end. It's not abnormal for the last half hour to be down instead of up. And so that, if you're swing trading, that might be something else you want to watch too. Sometimes if you're playing a large chunk of money, half a point really makes a big difference in eking out a little bit more yield as you go. And especially if you start accumulating that on I won't say a daily, but let's say twice a week or something like that, then you might have 100 trading days that you eke out another half point or something, and that makes a humongous difference. So these are the small things you might want to think about. If you look at it on a large basis, where do you think that the U.S. stock market's going? We've got a lot of stuff going on. There's been a lot of money up in Washington. The Fed comes out and speaks. Interest rates are creeping up. What else might derail us here? Sounds like all these things are things that will later on be taken into consideration and then just sloughed off. I don't see any major things that are going to hurt. I think one thing that is hurting the economy is people not getting back to work. And another thing is we have the semiconductor shortage, which I don't really understand because semiconductors seemed like they were having trouble making money there for a while. There was an oversupply, and now all of a sudden we have a shortage because of this COVID, I suppose. So anyway, these are all things that we need to think about on a macro level. I do think this thing is going to go back up into earnings, so I'd be surprised if it's not up quite a bit from here into the end of the month when we start having some of these tech companies come out with their earnings. So if we're looking at 15 trading days, we could be up a little over a point on average every day, and we could get back to even. That's usually not what happens. What happens is it moves in big swaths. So be up 5 points one day and then up 7 points the next day or something like that. So that's, I think, more typical. And going down is the same way. It's more typical to have large spikes down and then followed by another large spike down. But sometimes it'll go down and then it'll go right back up. Sometimes it'll do that intraday. Anyway, we had a 7-point range here. This is something you want to think about when you're looking at these. We had a lot of opportunity to buy the dips, sell the rips. So whenever you have volatility, it breeds opportunity. So take advantage of some of these opportunities. And if you can get a quite quick 4, 5, 6, 7 points in one day, then go ahead and take it and move on, and then wait for your next. That would be the best advice I can give. Like I said, I'm pretty much holding at 148, holding quite a few shares. So we'll see how this goes.